about you, but through Christ I can do all. Stand up tall with my left foot, post up on the wall. Easy if we fall in the streets, life can get hard. Streets used to be a lot different from what man call. Me a aim for my post like a soccer ball. Feel run the road that don't need a map at all. Babylon them want to hold me with a strap at all. But man a lion, me no Cancer nor Capricorn.
Though they want to see me fall, I'm gonna be okay. Though my back's against the wall, I'm gonna be okay. They fighting me now. I'm gonna be okay. Jehovah eyes are watching me now. I'm gonna be okay.
Hello, I'm Eddie Martinez. Welcome to Hope in the Six. This is the Kiesingar Gunn story.
Was just a fun person, always looking out for somebody who was the underdog. Very family oriented. He loved his kids. He loved his siblings. He loved me. Always taking care of me. Anytime that he was around, if you saw him, you always saw him with his children. Everybody around our neighborhood, that's all they remember is how much he loved to make people laugh and help people in the community, and just always with his children. Always with his children. My neighbors stopped by and were just talking about he'd come over and have all the kids in the van. He'd take the two young ones in his both arms and say, you guys wait there, and then go back for the last two. So it's just family. He's all about family. My granddaughter used to lie on the floor and color with him all the time, and always reading books to her. They would play on the iPods together. His son, he's always playing with his son. The two babies, oh my goodness, he would throw them up and they had them laughing in hysterics. Even as infants, he just was just the total caregiver.
No matter what, he was always there for me. He was legit like a big brother, literally. An amazing uncle, an amazing father, funny, silly, goofy. Anytime you needed a laugh, that's who you'd call.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, and today we have the lovely Evelyn Fox. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Today we're going to get into the Kiesingar Gunn story. This is the mother of the belated Mr. Gunn, and she's going to tell you, the trauma of losing her son and her experience and what it's all about. So we're going to just briefly introduce yourself. Evelyn Fox, you're from a community for zero violence. So
I'm the mother of Kiesingar Gunn. Kiesingar was killed by a stray bullet outside of 42 Supper Club in Liberty Village on September 11th, 2016. Myself and another mother who also lost her son to gun violence in 2016 are the co-founders of an organization called Communities for Zero Violence. Our sole purpose is to support other members of the community who have also lost their loved ones to violence, regardless whether it is by a firearm or any other means. We also lobby with the government to try to make changes to the laws concerning firearms and them getting into illegal hands, illegal firearms, into the illegal market. And border smuggling and that type of stuff. Also with victims' rights and whatever, because the justice system is not just for a victim. So we have a multi-layered organization.
Okay. So as we do, we talk about Hope in the Six. We deal with offenders that have run-ins with the law, but also there's a part of it which you have the victim of the offenders. So my goal is now to actually hear the side of the victims, because these youth that are committing these crimes, these gun violence, or just active violence itself in general, sometimes they don't know the full effect of hurting somebody. They have a mother, they have a brother, they have a sister, they have family. So sometimes you have a problem with an individual and you resort to violence, which resort to death. You're damaging families. So this is very important to have everybody's story and different sides so that everybody can see the full bigger picture. Because maybe if I have a vendetta with an individual, and I see this situation or the story today, maybe it make me think twice before I really take somebody's life. You know, you're taking a life. You know, can we not handle our anger in a different situation, more better, more civil? You know, so just take me to the time of that incident.
Well, the Thursday on September 8th was actually the last time I saw my son alive. He came over with one of his children, and we were just sitting in the living room and watching the news and talking and whatever. And something came on the news. I can't remember the story. It was something towards, I think it was a shooting. And I looked over to him and said, you know, make sure you're not getting into any arguments or fights with people out there, because, you know, these people don't fight with their fists anymore. They're all they do, they want to pull weapons. So, you know, if you're out there and whatever, just let things slide. Don't engage with negativity and whatever. And he was like, Mommy, you're always worrying about me. Stop worrying about me. I'll be fine. Nothing's going to happen to me. And I just kind of was like, you know what, just do me a favor and just let stuff slide, okay? Just walk away.
Right.
And, you know, I just kind of rubbed his hair, told him he needed a haircut, and I went upstairs. And when he was leaving, he yelled up the stairs, I love you, and I'll see you on Sunday. And before their Sunday could even come, like Sunday morning, I had one of my best friends and my goddaughter, two of my best friends and my goddaughter beating down my door at like 4:15 in the morning. And, you know, I wasn't even really awake yet. I was just like, you're in the state of sleep still. And I'm looking out the window and I'm like, you think you're dreaming. And I went downstairs and opened the door, and my goddaughter was like, Auntie Ev, we need to go to the hospital. Something bad happened to Kiesingar. And I was like, what? And my friend was like, Kiesingar got shot and not in a good place. So like the thoughts that started going, like, you have the most bizarre thoughts. Like all I kept thinking is, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I don't like it. I was pacing back and forth because I didn't know what to do next. But at the same time, I was still getting dressed, not really being able to process the information. But I was, and thinking, oh my God, like, what do I do? I have to go to work. I have to go, you know, like, I have the kids here. Like, what do I do? Right. You're just kind of in a state of panic.
Right.
And I finally got in the car, and I didn't want to ask where he was shot. Like, I just, even though I wanted to know, I had to prepare myself. I didn't ask until we got close to St. Mike's. And I said, you know, like, where did he get shot? And my friend said he got shot in the head. And I just started crying. Like, I would just, my first words out of my mouth is, you know, like, cowards. Like, how do you pull a gun? Like, and I didn't know the circumstances either. But my first thought is cowards. Like, I didn't know if he'd gotten into a fight. I didn't know if what the circumstances were. So my first assumption was that he had gotten into a fight and somebody had shot him. Right. So like that was my first thought. But we got to the hospital, and they sent down a clergy person. And he really would like it. Even though they sent down the clergy person. You know instinctively right there that things are not going to go well. Right. So I just asked him, you know, if you have no information for me, I need somebody who has information. Give me somebody who has information. Right. And I don't mean to be rude or anything, but I need to know the facts, and I need to know them right now. Right. So we went upstairs, and the surgeon came in, and he basically told me that the bullet entered Kiesingar's left eye, ricocheted through the left side of his brain, and severed an artery at the back of his neck. And that even if he did survive, he would have been brain dead. Not legally brain dead, but he would have no functioning. He would be like a vegetable. Right. So at that moment, I chose to, you know, donate his organs and pull the life support. But because they had to harvest his organs, they left him on life support for a certain duration of time. And not only that, he had to be legally brain dead before they could pull the life support as well. So I at that point was like, because the way the surgeon was talking, he was giving us the facts, but almost to a point where he was giving Naomi hope with the way that he was speaking. And Naomi was like, Naomi is his fiance, sorry.
Okay.
And Naomi was like, he's going to live? I'm like, no, Naomi, he's going to die. Like, today he's going to die.
So we're gonna go to a commercial break, and we'll get back to the Evelyn Fox, the Kiesingar Gunn story.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
On the cross, I was hanging with the boss. He told me hold off before he let me go off. Then I came off of the cross. I washed my blood stain off. First destination, we the north. Home of the Raptors, town of the Maple Leaf. If they ask you who I be, tell them the dying thief. Permanent resident, straight out of tenement. Heart that is penitent, catch me in my element. Talk about the hard life, we know. Talk about the suffering, we know. Talk about the heartache, we know. Talk about the same old struggle. There's no room in the end for me. There's no love for my kin for me. I heard one die for my sins for me. The best thing any could I do for me? See me hanging on the east side. See me hanging on the west side. Mean streets, rap beats, police, rap sheets, trap beats, gat speaks, cold sport, map leaves, at least, lost boys, back streets, cop car, cab seats, locked up, mat leaf, beef like patties, taste these pastries, watch these, waste these, he squeeze, he sneeze, at you, cold heart, so dark, so smart, Mozart, animals, no art, no art, no art, no art, no art. Bless me, mighty Father, bless me so that they won't curse me. Bless me, mighty Father, bless me. Yeah.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, with Evelyn Fox. Before we went to the break, she was telling us about her son being shot, a victim of gun violence. And take me now to continue the story from him being in the hospital and the hope that they were saying possibility.
Okay. So, after I spoke to the surgeon, I asked to see Kiesingar, and as they were leading me down the hallway, I kept saying in my head over and over again, God, just let it be a mistake. Let it, even though I knew already, the thoughts of hope still kind of exist.
Right.
So I'm walking down the hall and I'm just thinking, God, please let it be a mistake. Please let it be a mistake, and let it be somebody else. Please let it be a mistake. And then you get there and you just like slapped with reality, like you instant shock mode. And, you know, one of the nurses kept asking me, are you okay? Like, I've never seen a mother come in here without being in a panic and breaking down and whatever. And I'm just like, you know, I can't do that right now because this is the last moments I get to see to take care of my son. I can't take away from that. And I mean, all day long, all I did was clean his face from, you know, his wound down, to make sure that people who were coming in to say their goodbyes were not traumatized the way that I was going to be traumatized for the rest of my life.
Right.
So, excuse me, I stayed in there for 15 hours until his heart stopped beating. And, like, I mean, I'll never forget it. Like that whole scenario from beginning to end plays inside my head every day, every single solitary day.
Right.
And this is what I have to live with for the rest of my life.
I'm right there. So I want to plead with all the viewers, all those, you know, after the break, we showed a video, and the video is dealing with gun violence in the street, you know, in the urban communities, you know, predominantly, you know, there's a lot of black on black violence, you know. These are the things that I want to really address. I don't know if it's self-hate. I don't know what to call it, but right now, you have so many music right now, hip-hop music, where people are glorifying crime. You know, a lot of artists are talking about they have shooters. You know, they have gunmen, and I'm a gunman, I'm a bad man, and all that stuff. But I'm pleading with you right now to, like, stop talking about guns in your lyrics. Stop talking about killing people, because you're affecting families, you know. And it's not just one. It's predominantly amongst African-American or African-Canadian. You know, but everybody's affected. Her son was a victim of a stray bullet. You know, he didn't have nothing to do with the situation. So I'm pleading with you guys, girls, gangsters, thugs, whatever you want to call yourself or identify with it. It's time to change. It's time for us to grow and to build back our communities. You know, so sorry, but continue. But I just want to please stop the violence. Stop killing each other. Please, peace.
I just want to say something to that, too. I mean, just because someone also is involved in a gang should not warrant a death sentence.
Right.
We, in Canada, we don't have the death sentence, and no one should be able to put that, to have that and have that power to take someone else's life.
Right,
There is nothing going on in the streets that deserves a death sentence. And it's not the person you're killing that is reaping that your power.
Right.
It's the family, the community,
That's
the
right.
friends that are the ones
All the
who
loved
are
ones.
reaping that trauma forever. That person's deceased. They don't care anymore. They're at peace. So I mean, I don't know. It just makes no sense. And from what I understand about the case with Kiesingar, is it started over a drunken argument.
Right.
For what purpose did this person need to pull a gun over a drunken argument? And at first I felt bad for the person who shot my son, because I kept thinking, you know, excuse me. I kept thinking, he didn't mean to kill my son. You know, he must feel really terrible about what he did, and, you know, he hit an unintended target. He must see that my son, the information on the news, and think, I killed a good person. Somebody who was a father, somebody who was abandoned by his dad and turn around to be an amazing father to his kids, and this is the person that you killed, and you see this on the news, and the guilt that must weigh on his shoulders for doing something so reckless. And here we are 2.5 years later, and this man has not even come forward to take responsibility for his actions, to even plead for forgiveness
Right.
on his actions.
Right.
And it makes me wonder, you know, I feel bad for your mother because I know that the way that I taught my children is to take responsibility for their actions, even if they're wrong.
Right,
At least
right.
they can beg for forgiveness and they
That's
can
correct.
see the error of their ways. And, you know, I would support my son if he was the shooter and in jail. I could support him and I can help him get through what he's dealing with so that when he comes out, he's a better person.
Right.
And that's the type of person
Right.
that I am. And I just don't understand if, you know, people are not raising their kids in the same manner. Like, how do you take someone's life and not take responsibility and think you can just keep running? Karma will catch up to you at some point in time. If the justice system does not catch up to you, karma will catch up to you at some point in time.
Definitely.
Your options are prison or death. That's your options. And I'm sure, and I said it before, I said it during the reward hearing, you have loved ones that love you. You have people that genuinely want
Right.
to see good for you. And I'm sure that they would rather see you in prison begging for forgiveness,
Right.
helping turn your life around, than to bury you.
Right.
I will feel bad for your mother, but I'm sorry, I will not feel bad for you.
Right.
I will not.
And this is what Hope in the city of Toronto is about. It's about rehabilitation also. If this man could come forward and just say, you know what, I messed up, and just deal with the consequences. Hope is there for that person. We could rehabilitate. Hope in the 6, we go out, Team Hope. We go to the jails. We visit a lot of people that are guilty of crimes. We're not giving them a pass, but we know that they're people's children. There's a side of them, to their story too, their family members, and what they did too. Because I bet you his mother and his siblings are devastated also. You
They're
understand what
going
I'm
to
saying? So this crime and this senseless killing, it affects everyone. It affects the community. So we really want to plead with you young ones, because it's really predominantly among the younger generation right now. They're going on a gun spree. Toronto crime rate spiked up, 96 murders for 2018. That's a history record. We want to plead with you young men to stop killing each other. We want peace on the streets. We want unity. Not only that, we want justice for Kiesingar. So we're going to go to a break, and we'll be back after these short messages.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Welcome back to Hope in the 6. I'm your host, Eddy Martinez. Today we have Evelyn Fox talking about her son, Mr. Gunn, and violence and the situation that he was in. He was murdered by a stray bullet, unfortunate. And what her voice is now, she's speaking. This is a mother's cry. A mother should never have to bury her child, is very disturbing. I lost my father, and it was very hard for me, but when I watched the pain of my grandmother crying for her son, it was just it broke me down even worse, because that's his mother. We should be burying my grandmother, not my grandmother burying her son. So I kind of could relate, not exactly, but I see the pain, and we're pleading for for just peace. Let's change the dynamics. There is hope out there. There's services that will work with you. We work closely with criminals, offenders, and we're doing our best to rehabilitate, to reintegrate back to society. Yes, like she said, pretty much repent, be sorrowful for what you did, and then the healing process can begin, So if you were able to now see this young man, or just he's out there somewhere. So just what few words or whatever, what would you say to that individual? Anything at the moment, or?
Like I said, you have family that loves you, and I'm sure they want to see you in jail versus deceased. So I mean, I don't expect him to come forward. But like, he has the power to do what's right.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So he can beg for forgiveness and hope that the justice system will give him the forgiveness he's looking for. But I mean, for him to walk to come forward, lawyer up and come forward.
Come forward, young man or young woman. But we're gonna go to a video. We have a young man telling his story. He's just sharing his story with those that are probably in a similar situation as him, or he's just preventing them to get in his situation. Check it out.
For the young generation, I tell you, fight the hope. If you're not in trouble, please stay out of trouble, because it matters about the color of your skin. It has effect to it too, but at the same time, just keep out of trouble, go to school, or go travel, see the world. And as me growing up, I never really had a lot of positive people around me. So that's what made me stray out there, just to be like, okay, you know what? If I do this, whatever, I don't really see the aspect of the big consequence. But now I'm learning from this. It's just like, I cut friends short. I don't even trying to do anything. I just like, you know what I mean? I gotta fight, I gotta research, I gotta look this up. Where could I go? What opportunities I have left as a human being in life, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't just, if I dwell on this and be like, my life is done, right now I'll probably be in jail, probably I'm doing the same stupidness, and then after what? This criminal record thing is just like, it just brings out a new person in you. It's just like, I start stressing more. I just start seeing my opportunities go down, but it's just a base of mindset. I gotta fight more. I gotta fight even harder just to clear this this criminal record. I feel like it's not even worth it. It's just a lot of things you can't do. You can't really travel. You can't really sponsor someone. Even if you love someone, you can't sponsor someone. You're just in this hole that you're trying to escape. You feel like this dark hole is chasing you every second you go. It's just crazy, but I just try to I just try to be thankful for being in this country, but just to go out and see certain things, I gotta wait a certain period of time. So that just slows me down a little bit, and it just starts playing mind games with you. And that's why I gotta try to reach out to the young generation, show them yo, listen, having a charge is it's not no game. You can love someone and they can be across the world, and you want to be with them the rest of your life, and you feel oh, you know what, I could do this, but you really can't.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. And this young man in the video, he was talking about his situation. He's actually telling people not to commit crimes and to stay away from the gangster life, the criminal enterprise, because it's not beneficial. He's in a situation where he can't do what he wants because there's restrictions. Once you got running with the law, once you have a record, you can't file for an individual. He was talking about falling in love and want to marry somebody. You can't even file for them if they're not, a Canadian citizen. It's so much drama and so much hurdles in the way of an individual when you commit crime. So, we really want to talk about crime prevention, but for those who are now on the other side, there is still hope. That's why we say Hope in the Six, because we are willing to now take the initiative and really help more beyond the average person. This is a situation that really ravished the black communities, and we need more black leaders to step up, you know, and I'm pleading for that. And I know there's a lot of people out there, but we need to come together because everybody can't work separate. We got to, you know, unify. When I was younger, there was a show called Transformers or Voltron, and these robots would get together and form this big monster of a robot. But let us get together and do that. We can really make a change. We can make a difference in the city of Toronto, you know, together. Thank you. You know, and also we want to plead now with the witnesses, because I know there's somebody who's seen something, heard something, and knows something. I want this story to really touch your heart. You know, a mother's grieving her lost one, and she said it's going to be with her forever. You know, this is something that's going to haunt her for the rest of her life, you know, and God forbid it bring her to the grave earlier than supposed to, you know, but it's devastating. This is traumatic. This is so, you know, you was talking about, you said that you know, you had to see like somebody for this, right? And, you know, post-traumatic stress, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is devastating. So I'm pleading with witnesses. You've seen something. I know we talk about the streets and we keep it real here on Hope in the Six. You know, a lot of people are afraid because that snitching code. You know, oh, I'm not going to snitch. I'm not going to snitch. You know, you got to think about being morally, you know, correct. Like, this is something human. Think about the victim. Think about the families. Like, you're not going to snitch for this? Foolish, little simple things you don't snitch for. Like, you could let it slide. But when it comes to a death of somebody, the person lost his life. You know, this is it's just a mother should never have to bury her son, you know, and the person that's responsible should not be walking around free, because if he's free, he may do it again. You understand? You get caught up in this, you live in that lifestyle, and you end up shooting somebody else. You know, I have a similar story. One of my young men that I work with, he was shot, like, in his sleep. And this was on the news. You know, he was shot in his sleep. His friends hanging out at a party and everything, and this guy told me that I had to go see him in the hospital. He told me he woke up bleeding, like, I'm like, listen, y'all got to stop playing with these guns. Like, this ain't a game. This is people's lives you're dealing with. So hopefully, you know, somebody could just hear this, share it. I hope everybody who watched this episode, please, I don't ask for sharing of episodes, but this one, please share this episode, because we want justice for Mr. Kiesingar. So we have a break coming up. So I'm gonna do something different. I want to go to now. Early. Later on in the segment, we normally go to bars for bars, but I'm actually go to that.
Welcome to Shadow Auto.
What's going on, everybody? This is Jason, a.k.a. Jason Fresh, part of the Hope team out here in the streets doing bars for bars, and we got.
I started as a youngin' growing up in the hood. Nobody really got him quite misunderstood. Peers said that I was different all the way through elementary. Teachers thought I was strange for always rolling up in centuries. People on my block saying that they got love for me. Somebody else always cracking jokes and trying to poke fun at me. Had me feeling like a player shouldn't love himself, so I switched up for the worst shit right here back for my health. Now everywhere I went, I tried to be something that I wasn't. Acting like my older homies, but you know that I'm bluffing. Times got really hard. I used to go and check my younger cousin, rolling trees up in the woods. You know we finna get blunted. Told me, hey, because you better lead, don't follow. You trendsetter, mind of a genius, just go get her. So, gotta get that cash for your time pass. Gotta make your mark and appeal to the mass. Tomorrow ain't never promised. Live each day like it's your last. Live each day like it's your last. Listen to the words I'm talking. Follow me on my long path. Lonely road, I'm always walking. Thinking about them times. Used to argue with my moms. Only showing me tough love to avoid myself from harm. Whoa, kicked out of my home because I ain't listen. I was dissing. Always want to be that whipping birds up in the kitchen. Always balling, always flossing. Don't matter what it's costing. Started rapping and got really nice so I could do this often.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez. Today we have Evelyn Fox, and this is the Kiesingar Gunn story. Now, we just went to a segment of Bars in the Bars. This is now, we talk about youth that are on the streets. You know, we tell them to say something to the guys that's locked up, so they give us bars, maybe poetry, rap, or song, or whatever, something to those that are incarcerated. So they give us their bars for those behind bars. And that young man was just pretty much sharing his struggle, like how he was bullied and he had to just, you know, having problems with his mother. And we just keep it real, you know, and we give it as a voice not only for us to say what we want to say, but we let the youth, you know, that are going through their issues with the street life, you know, to share with the community. So that's Bars in the Bars. Now we've got back, we're going to get back to the story. We don't even have enough time to really cover this because it's very deep and very emotional, but we want to get to the heart of it. And the heart of it, we really want, you know, those that are responsible to come forth, you know, those that are witness to share something. We want justice for Mr. Gunn, you know. So we're going to talk about, I want to talk to you about your movement, Community for Zero Violence, that organization.
Communities for Zero Violence. So Kelly Wetter and I created as, I guess for me, it is a means of survival. It's a way for me to channel my anger into something positive because I have a lot of anger. So it's a way for me to support other victims and other communities who've been impacted by violence and, you know, a positive change. And if we can, you know, prevent one person, one mother, one family member from having to go through the stuff that we go through, then, you know, it's working. So it's just a way to not beat myself down because that's what it will do. Like this, my son being taken from me really has beaten me down. And I've never ever in my life felt like a victim. I've always been a survivor. But this, like, I mean, having your son killed and then having to watch helplessly, knowing that you would have gave your life for him, it makes you the worst victim in the worst way, and it makes you have devastating thoughts of suicide, devastating thoughts of retaliation, and it's a dangerous situation. It really is. It really beats you down.
I want us to check out this next video. Take a look.
Enough is enough. Mothers are crying. Enough is enough. Youth are dying. Enough is enough. Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Put the guns down. No more guns. No more guns. Stop the violence.
You don't understand how happy I am that you guys are talking. Your voices need to be heard. It can't just come from us mothers who are impacted. You guys are also impacted. You guys every day witness the shootings. If you don't have friends that are involved in the shootings, your family members are involved in the shootings. You guys are constantly impacted. You guys need to stand up and talk up as much as possible and talk loud. Talk loud. We're listening. And whatever we can do to help amplify your voice, we'll do it. We will do it. You guys, amazing. I love you guys for doing this. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I want to shout out Develop Me Youth, Brooklyn, and the rest of the team. These are youth that took the initiative to do a march called Enough is Enough. You were there, I was there, Nia was there. A lot of community members actually came together. This is what we talk about, Hope in the Six, when different organizations come together for one cause. Enough is enough. Stop the violence, you know. It was a very good march, and it was led by youth in the community. So I was so proud of that, you know.
Yes.
That's why I shout out Development Youth, Brooklyn, and the rest of the team once again, because you
And
did a
Stacy.
wonderful, and Stacy, you know, I don't know all of them, but you all guys, you did a wonderful job, and this is what it's about. Let's come together. Let's make a difference in our community. Enough is enough. I'm actually upset right now. I'm so upset because I'm sad at the same time, but I'm emotionally distraught because this should never have to happen. You understand? But I do want to look at the positive. Communities for zero violence came about. So now you're going to actually prevent others. You know, you're going to save other mothers from bearing their child because your voice will be heard. We are going to really fight for justice. You know, few years went by and there's no justice. No one came forward. You know, I don't know if it's the police. I don't know what they're doing on the behalf. If it's a cold case or I don't know the drive. You know, but there's something to that too. You know, it depends. You know, but I don't even want to go into the political aspect of it. But we're praying. I'm praying for you. You know that God will just give you strength. And the time, when you feel, because I know it's just an ongoing basis. You know, every day is a new day. You know, but that pain it lingers. So I'm praying that God give you the strength to now endure, keep holding the fort, keep doing what you're doing. Let's get together beyond the show, outside. Let's go. When you go into events, give me an invite. I'll be there as much as I can. We're in this together. You know. I thank you for coming out. You did a wonderful job. You're doing beautiful things. Shout out to your family, your daughter. You know, his wife, Naomi. Yes, and his kids, your grandkids. Like, much love to them. And y'all just keep together, hold the fort. God bless you all. You know, I want to now just take a brief moment to get into a different segment. I'm gonna do something nice. Slide out the camera for a bit. But this is what I want to do. I want to give a voice for those that are locked up. We haven't forgotten you. You know, yes, you have committed crime, some bad things, and you know, we're not proud of that. We're not glorifying that, but we do want to hear your voice because crime is not just somebody just commit crime. It's a stem. You know, it comes from sometimes it's the upbringing, the parents, the abuse, the different situations that bring that out. So right now, I just want to read briefly from this. Is an inmate magazine. It's from the prisons. It's called Cell Count. It's free for prisoners, ex-offenders, and their families. This is something by a young man named Zachariah Amara. This is what he says. My beloved 12-year-old daughter asked me to share my story with you. I am having a difficult time deciding what to write and from which part to start. Perhaps I should begin from the present and work my way back to the past. I've been in prison for 12 years now. I received a life sentence after pleading guilty to being one of the ringleaders in Toronto's 18 terror plot. Thankfully, no one was physically hurt. I was 20 then. I am almost 33 now. In pretrial custody, I was deemed as a radical threat to the inmate population, and so I was involuntarily placed in solitary confinement for 3 years. After receiving my sentence, I was once again considered a radical threat and sent to Canada's only supermax prison. Usually you have to kill or stab someone inside to be sent there. I spent 6 difficult years there before finally getting transferred to Millhaven Max, where I currently reside. Based on what you've just read, it is easy to imagine me as a tough, violent, angry man with a threatening demeanor. The truth is that I am the exact opposite of that image. Guilty, I am. Radicalized, I was. Yet I still find my entire situation incredibly surreal. I often go back into time to retrace my steps and figure out how I ended up here. Every time I engage in this exercise, I find a young man who was caught up in a perfect storm of internal and external influences. The inevitability of it all was, I find, most remarkable. After any major terrorist attack, there were usually is a fierce debate about what makes individuals susceptible, radical ideologies. Unfortunately, this rarely occurs when predators are non-Muslims, right-wing extremists in the U.S. If I had a noose around my neck, and the only thing I could save my life was the answer to this apparently dumbfounding question, then I would have to say it is the emotional state of feeling utterly worthless. And he wrote more. I may continue it, but he said he's feeling utterly worthless. And later on in this ad where the guy's declaring his situation, he goes into a lot of traumatizing things that he experienced as a young man, which brought him to that place. So what I want to say to you, to the audience out there, is not just people are not just criminals. There's so many external factors, internal factors that bring them to that situation. Hopefully, we could make a difference. Communities for Zero Violence, Hope in the Six, and all other community members that are out there. Let us work together and bring hope in the six. God bless you. Take care. Hope in the six. Thank you so much.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I'm gonna be okay. I will fear no evil, that when I ride in my staff. I'm gonna be okay. Thou preparest a table before me in front of my enemies. I'm gonna be okay. Thou anointed my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. All on my shoulder, I'm a soldier, thought I told you. But with Jehovah, so nobody can test. Every day of my life, I'm blessed. Yes.